And now the moment you're all waiting for. It is such a great honor and a pleasure and a delight to introduce Gary Zukav. He is a 4-time best-selling, New York Times best-selling author. He is the co-founder of the Seat of the Soul Institute with Linda Francis. He is a renowned spiritual teacher. He is a dear human being. I met Gary in Mount Shasta when we both lived there in the early 90s. I remember a special evening at your house, Gary. Do you remember, with Kenny Loggins? We were all sharing music, just, sitting around the table and having a great time. So it is just a great honor and a pleasure. Would you please welcome Gary Zukav?
Thank you, Kathy. Where is Daniel? Thank you, Daniel. What great wisdom we've heard. Hallelujah. Who is singing it? And to whom? Something greater is calling you. What is it? Greater than what? Tell us more about this earthen jug, Kabir. I want to hear. I think I know, but I want to hear it. Make me an instrument of thy peace. Whose peace? Who is thy? Am I different than thy? How can I be if thy is divine and everything? I'm so grateful to be here with you. When Linda and I first moved here in 2000, we gave an event and we called it a gift to Ashland. And we gave the proceeds to Ashland. And this is the first time I've spoken in Ashland since then. It's taken me a while. To be here with Linda and with you again. Linda is with me. She is always with me. And the thing that I'd like to remind you of, we have reminded many before. I will speak for myself. If I say anything, let me put it this way. I suggest that you not take anything that I say as so because I say it. And I suggest that you not do that with anything that anyone says, even if they have a television show or a congregation or have written books or been on Oprah. Instead, if I say, or Linda and I say anything that you resonate with, experiment with it. Take it into your life and see what it produces. And if you like what it produces, experiment some more. That's what you have a life for. And if it doesn't, let it go. Don't try to wear a shoe that pinches. Have you ever been on the wide, open ocean? I'm not talking about water. That's where we're going. And here's the surprise that came as a surprise to me. That's where we are. Linda's soul returned home to non-physical reality 22 months ago. That means the personality, the incarnation, the one that many of us knew, is gone. It's dead, ashes and dust. But the spirit that animated that incarnation is not gone. First of all, where could it go? The same is so of us. We are temporary incarnations. Where did we come from? And where will we go? Same question. Where would we go? Where did we come from? And is it different than here? Linda's incarnation is gone, but she's with me. We are involved in an experiment that is thrilling to me. It is the incarnation of a soul. It is the co-creation of a soul that is incarnate in the earth school with the fuller expression of a soul that is a non-physical reality. This trans-realm communication and co-creation is becoming and will become the defining characteristic of our species. We are in a transformation of consciousness, epic in its nature, unprecedented in its content, unknown to us in the past, and unknowable, but not now. Our consciousness is larger. What is the larger world? We have become accustomed to thinking of things in terms of parts and the relationships between them. There are no such things, and there never have been. There is within the old consciousness, which was limited to the five senses and understood power as manipulation and control, within that consciousness there is an uncrossable barrier in each person, unclimbable. The barrier between in here and out there. That barrier is not part of the new consciousness. Gandhi is said to have said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." That was actually not his quote, but it was his meaning, it was his heart, it was his life. Well, how can that work? People have asked themselves ever since they heard that phrase, how can what happens in here affect transformation out there? How can it not? You are the same. There is no difference. How can you change a world that's built on external power, the ability to manipulate and control with external power? You add more to that. You contribute more of what it is already made of. To change it requires something new, something different. And that is authentic power. When I use the term authentic with power, it means having to do with the soul, having to do with harmony, cooperation, sharing, and reverence for life. And power is alignment of your personality with that. What is that? What is your soul? In the East, they might call it Atman. Hindus say, sword cannot cut it, fire cannot burn it. They also say, you art that, thou art that. The soul? Yes. And more. What is more? Kabir, in his boldness, said, Kabir says, I am not that bold. I can only say, I see. And I offer you what I see. It's a window through which I've come to see life. And I hope that it's helpful to you. There is no need to control your life, only to make choices. What if I were to tell you the universe is inside you and there's no outside? Each of you is a unique expression of the universe. How many yous are there? When the Buddha became enlightened, he saw worlds as numerous as dust motes. You know what a dust mote is? When a ray of sunshine comes through the window and you see these little countless particles dancing in the sunlight. Each of those is a dust mote. How many shafts of sunlight are there in the universe? That's how many worlds the Buddha saw, not Siddhartha, but after he woke up to something. This is what he saw. And he said, in each of those worlds, there's a Buddha and a path to enlightenment. And the Hindus say, thou art that. And I agree. It's not agreeing with a theory. It's not agreeing with a hypothesis. It's sharing. I love what he shared. I see it. You will see it. You are on that path. We are all on that path. Thousands of millions of us are on that path. And that path is moving us in the same direction. You could say, toward love. Authentic power is love. But if you really want to see it and feel it, which you will, it is the direction in which and at which there is no at. It is always you, I, we, they, them, yours, mine, his, hers, disappears. It doesn't exist anymore. The thinker and the thought are not separate. The singer and the song are not separate. Are you separate from the universe? No, you are not. Nothing is separate from the universe. I am in the universe, and you are in the universe. Then we are not separate. We are the universe. I'm not saying that poetically. These things have been hiding in plain sight for a long time. When I said the universe is inside of you, At first, when I saw that, I thought, I can't tell anybody that. That sounds solipsistic, sounds narcissistic, sounds unhinged. But then I thought about what the Buddha saw when he woke. And I thought about what our Lakota family, Linda and I have been adopted into that decades ago. And the Lakota wisdom says, the center of the universe is everywhere. I thought, I think that's the same thing. So I asked a friend of mine who's been a clergyman for 75 years. He's 95 now. And I asked him, is there anything in Christian theology or scripture that would indicate that the universe is inside me? And he looked at me for a beat with a bit of puzzlement behind his eyes. And then he said, the kingdom of heaven is within. It's always been there. What does that mean for you? Well, there's different ways to answer this. The path you are walking is not unknown to the universe. Everything that you have been, everything that you are, and everything that you will be is. There are no parts. There are no others. You are not separate from anything. So what's that mean? There comes a time when you will not be able to understand these words. You will, if you're like me, and you are, because I started as a small boy in Kansas without knowing any of these things. And what I'm telling you now is all from the perspective of this incarnation as Gary Zukav. But it's a little one. And what I can tell you is tiny. It's like you know what a continuum is? It doesn't have a beginning and it doesn't have an end. It's a theory. And it's a theory because from the old consciousness, no one has ever seen or participated in a continuum. Same thing with the word eternal. Nothing in the world of five sensory perception has ever experienced anything that is eternal. But you are. And you are not different from anything. So, when St. Francis said, "Make me an instrument of thy peace," that's, I think, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful expressions of love that's possible. But, and here's the but, it didn't exist before. It's an and now, and it exists. He's asking outside himself. He's saying, make me an expression of your peace. There's a separation. Can you see it? St. Francis, dear, beautiful St. Francis. Let's just say, dear, beautiful Francis, and leave the institutional part away. He didn't see it. With all his heart, he was asking. But now we're becoming multi-sensory, and we can see that difference. Instead of asking to be made something, make yourself, because no one else can do it. This is not a self-help encouragement talk. It's a description. No one can change you. No one. The universe brings you always to places where a decision is required in this realm of time and space and matter and duality that Linda and I, and we'll call the Earth School. What decision must you make at each moment? To have a baby? To move to San Francisco? To get married? To plant tomatoes this year? Whatever decision you can think of, there's only two options. Are you making that decision in love or in fear? And there's no right and there's no wrong. You can't make a mistake. The universe doesn't look in terms of reward and punishment, good and bad. It looks in terms of cause and effect. If you participate in a cause, you will participate in the effect. The cause is your intention, love or fear. Now you're on the wide open ocean. No pathway is waiting for you to follow and do the right thing. You create it moment by moment. If you create with fear, you create painful, destructive consequences for yourself. If you create with love, you create the reverse, constructive, healthy, blissful consequences. It's up to you. But who are you? There are no parts, and there never have been. You were thinking of yourself as a part. That is a 5-sensory rumor. That's untrue. There is one, and all is that. And you are that. Who can you blame for what you choose? Who can you give credit to for what you choose? Who can you plead, beg, demand that your life be different? This is the consciousness toward which we are going. As a species, I am not special. Of course I'm special. Everyone is different and special and unique in that sense. And Linda also. We are special, like snowflakes are special, each completely unique, but all moving in the same direction. Awareness, but not awareness of something outside of us. There is no outside. This is good news.
We're on your channel.
Yes, and I'm on yours. Does anyone have any questions? No, and I'm asking that now, not to say, what is your mind saying? What are you thinking about? If you have a question, I ask you this. Ask it from your heart. Don't take our time together with curiosities that your mind generates. They're endless. What is the most important thing you want to ask or share in the short time we have together? You, yeah. Make it short and straight.
I think you were talking about from a place of fear or a place of love, and what about a place of exhaustion?
A place of love or a place of fear or a place of exhaustion. The three are not in the same category. Love and fear are the fundamental duality in the Earth School. Exhaustion is a state. It's either a physical state or an emotional state. In other words, you cannot say, I did this because I was exhausted. You did it because you did it, and if you don't know your intention, it's because you were unconscious of your intention. That's an unconscious life, and almost everyone lives one. That's what's changing now. Every intention that's unconscious comes from fear. The question remains the same and will always remain the same as long as you are in the Earth School. Is your intention love or is it fear? Thank you.
How did you come to your realizations? Was there a moment in your life that spurred it on?
No, that's not a question for me. The question is, what's happening in you now? What are you feeling now? Are you resonating or not? By the way, resonance doesn't always mean, I understand that. Resonance can be a violent pushing it away. Nonsense. New age fluff. I'm out of here. That's a resonance too. But it's a strong resonance that parts of you are not willing to look at.
Hi. So you say we're moving away from the five-sensory perception to the multi-sensory. So my question is, when will we get there? Will it look different, or is it happening right now?
Which one? I don't say. I suggest that we are. But I'm not going to make that a we statement. I am and I have. And I suggest that you are and you are. That is moving toward a new consciousness. When will you see it? You're living it. Don't concern yourself with the future. There is no such thing. Make your decisions now. You have no choice except love and fear, because now is the only place you can make your decisions. So when will it start? That depends on you entirely. Human consciousness is very fluid. It can shift from love to fear, fear to love in an instant. What instant will you choose love?
What is the relationship between the heart and the soul?
What is the relationship between the heart and the soul? The soul is what you are. You are a powerful and compassionate, loving and creative spirit. That's your soul. You are incarnate in the Earth School. In the Earth School, there is a path. If you desire to move toward your meaning, fulfillment, vitality, purpose, joy, you need to align yourself with your soul. Your soul desires harmony, cooperation, sharing, and reverence for life. Love, in other words. Your soul, aligning your personality with your soul, creating authentic power requires the heart, which means your emotions are very important. One of the tools in creating authentic power is emotional awareness. And you can read about this in a book, The Seat of the Soul. The heart is at the heart of creating authentic power. You cannot create authentic power. You cannot change yourself if you're not aware of your emotions. And I don't mean I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm buoyant. Ooh, that hurts. No, I'm talking about in terms of physical sensations in different energy processing centers in your body. If you're in a frightened part of your personality, they'll hurt. If you're in a loving part of your personality, they'll feel good. You can read about that in a book called The Heart of the Soul, which Linda and I co-authored, Emotional Awareness. So the heart is related to everything. Your emotions, you might say, are messages from your soul. When you experience a frightened part of your personality, anger, judgment, resentment, jealousy, superiority, entitlement, inferiority, need to please, they hurt. They hurt when you look inside and really see what's there in terms of physical sensations. That's why it takes courage and commitment to create authentic power, because it's difficult to choose to experience fully what you are feeling, never to suppress or repress or deny an emotion, but instead to go into it as fully as you can. And then while you're experiencing it, use your will, your volition, to put your attention into a loving part of your personality, one that experiences gratitude, appreciation, caring, patience, contentment, all of the universe. And choose to act from that part of your personality while you're experiencing the frightened part. That's the moment of creating authentic power. That's where the rubber meets the road. And as you do it again and again and again, that part of your personality that you're experiencing as fear, fully, and challenging by choosing not to act on it, begins to lose its control over you, and eventually its control over you disintegrates. But don't think that creating that authentic power is at the end of a long, painful, uphill road, like Sisyphus pushing a boulder up a sand dune. I got it. Oh, damn. The thing rolled all the way down to the bottom. And now he's got to go down there and do the whole thing again, because that's what he was condemned to do. By whom? By the gods. The Greeks' understanding of what controls our lives, and it's external to us. All of that, all of five sensory perception is now obsolete. It no longer serves our evolution. In fact, the pursuit of external power now produces only violence and destruction. It's counterproductive to our evolution. I hope that's helpful.
Someone who wants to participate in the transformation that it seems like we need to do, I was really struck by the thing about humility.
What is your question?
Say a little more about the relationship of humility and freedom.
No. This is not a time for that. This is a time for looking inside yourself to find the most meaningful, wholesome, sane experience.
I'm touched by the idea that in finding humility, I can find more freedom.
Yes, But what is humility? The 4 characteristics of authentic power are humbleness, clarity, forgiveness, and love. Love is the big one. Humbleness is not humility, as many people think of it, as making yourself less than you actually are so that you'll appear other than to someone else, or placing yourself below. There is nothing that you can place yourself below, because there is nothing above you and there is nothing below you. You are. A humble person lives in a friendly world. So we can move back to that level of understanding. A humble person knows that everyone's path through the world is as challenging and difficult as her own. And so everyone is a friend to a humble person.
So in the beginning, you mentioned sharing an account, and it's going to turn into a question. I wear a ring for one that has died. That was the most incredible incarnate life.
Yes, what is your question?
So the question is, in your teachings with Linda as an incarnate life, what is your relationship with her now that she has crossed the veil?
There's no veil. She hasn't crossed anything. She's here with me now. She's with you. And so is everyone whose personality has died. The soul that incarnated that personality is not dead. It cannot. That's a meaningless statement. It is eternal. It is immortal. And that's what you are if you want to look at it that way. But this consciousness that we're now acquiring gives you an even broader perspective than that. All that is all that is. And you are that. It is a joy to be with you, and I so appreciate your coming so that we can meet again after 22 and 23 years. I'm back.